Hey everyone, my name is Aaliyah Fabian and I'm a senior here at George Mason. I am an integrative studies major with a concentration in legal studies. And welcome to our team, EcoMason.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Rocabano. I'm an integrative studies major at George Mason University. I'm currently a junior and I have a concentration in international relations.
Hey everybody, welcome to EcoMason. My name is Jasmine and my major is in integrative studies with a concentration in leadership and organization development. For our social innovation project, we decided to address the issue that is pollution in our water systems. After much discussion, we decided that we should innovate this idea as directly as we can. So we then targeted the sources of pollution, which are individuals all over the community. So we initially wanted to help keep the water clean that is directly affected by the sewers. And then over the course of this, creating this prototype, we decided that it would be more effective to encourage our Mason community to use reusable products to create less waste. Since we were targeting individuals, it certainly raised a lot of questions, especially ones that we would ask them, such as how likely are they to use reusable products even if they haven't before. And we also wanted them to know that by making the switch to reusable products or utilizing reusable products more, we will be able to see a positive environmental impact both in our local community and the environment beyond. Our long-term goal consisted of wanting to reduce the harms of pollution in our community by tackling pollution at its source, which is waste. Instead of focusing on recycling, our goal is to reduce the amount of waste.
On our team, we were very fortunate to have a team that consisted of different majors and interests. Our team consisted of 3 George Mason undergraduates who were diverse and eager to learn. And we all brought strengths to our sprint journey that helped to contribute, such as ideas, suggestions, and everything else possible. Okay, creating our prototype on Monday, we determined what issue or what subject we were focusing on and where we were most passionate about. So on Tuesday, we started to create ideas and possible sketches, and from that we chose the best ones and we redrew them. On Wednesday, we started narrowing the steps and storyboarding, and Thursday we changed more of our focus to building a social media platform. So we made Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter accounts with identical posts, and we all contributed this together. When we created our Facebook page, we made it in connection to one of our personal accounts. We then began to add images for our page, for a page photo and a cover photo, which was George Mason themed to connect with other George Mason affiliates. We then began to add fine details like social media handles, which eventually became EcoMason. Moreover, we created bios for all the group members, contact information, and did our best to make our Facebook as realistic as possible, even though it was an unpublished page. We then began to add posts about reusable products with the aim of informing our viewers and also relaying that the environment can be bettered even with just the simplest actions, and the users could contribute by sharing what they have done. And with an example we showed was the hashtag trash challenge, and also informative pictures that showed how reusing reusable products is equivalent to using a certain amount of disposable products.
All right, guys, so it's Friday here, and it's time for us to conduct the prototype test portion of our sprint process. We were really lucky to get 4 different stakeholders to be able to review our project. One of which, as you see in the photos, was very willing to be in videos and even give critiques on camera, which is what you'll see here shortly. But part of the overall review process from these stakeholders in terms of feedback and the breakdown portion was that they gave great critiques in terms of usability and practicality in terms of what we're trying to test. So they gave feedback like how to maybe do better content creation, try to maybe boost the different types of content we're sharing, maybe even be more creative in what we're doing, which is great to hear because everyone is going to be, catered to different types of content. So it's really great to hear different feedback from them on that. An important part of this was we're testing a question, right? And to see if we are able to make a difference by using this innovation. So are people more likely to reuse reusable products if they have them? Or if they don't have them, are you likely to switch? And luckily, we got a big yes from the stakeholder interviews, but of course, there is room for adjustment to better the process. So here you're going to see a bit of the debriefing with our stakeholder, and you'll see them now. Hey Nick, so now that you're done navigating the Facebook page, how did you feel while you were navigating through it?
Felt pretty, normal, pretty fluid. The content seemed to, it didn't really feel too spammy. It felt like new stuff was coming as I scrolled down through it.
Great. And when you were scrolling through the pages, is there anything that made you feel negatively toward the content or images, even some of the stuff you're reading? Is there anything that made you feel uncomfortable or maybe not even engaged?
A lot of it's in the same format, here's a post, here's information. So just kind of the repetitiveness makes it feel like redundant, even though the facts aren't necessarily redundant.
Great. And do you have any other suggestions that you could recommend for a prototype like this?
Yeah, maybe add some engaging content, like there's like how there's polls on Facebook. So, just to ask a simple question about, how much I use or what kind of plastics I use or something like that, just to make me think about what kind of waste I'm producing.
Great. And with that said there too, after seeing a page like this, are you likely to engage in Facebook pages that are similar to this about reusable products?
Yeah, it seems pretty open. I would probably be more willing to engage if the posts seemed like they were open to more conversation rather than just giving me information. But yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate that, and we look forward to maybe working with you again. So what's next for EcoMason? Well, the first thing is we want to continue our passion about the subject of anti-pollution and reducing waste, and doing so through reusable products. I think people underestimate the value that brings in, and I think that we've seen now that we have those yes answers we need to our questions. So the next step I think here is going to be fixing that disconnect that we had before that we noticed with our stakeholders. So taking their critiques, taking their advice, and implementing it. So part of that's going to be to continue posting content that is easy to view and is eye-catching, but also something more interactive, so that way a viewer doesn't feel that they're strictly a viewer, that they contribute from their experiences, answer questions, and be part of the movement too. I think part of that will also come in greatly when we start doing that professional advertisement, right? So doing that boost on Facebook to be able to generate those views and get that broad span of a platform network to grab in more people to like our page, view it, and so on and so forth. That advertising and marketing can be done through Mason students, can be done through the platform itself, and even, of course, paid advertisers to do that. But we just want to gain the ground that we need to be able to affect our community. On that same note, I think that in order to be able to either gain the financial means we need for that or the overall engagement is to partner up with Mason and those who facilitate with Mason, that being alumni, current groups on campus, current admin, and really anyone who's willing to join the cause to better our environment through reusable products to eliminate waste. obvious example, I think, would be to try to show the events that Mason has that is toward, trash pickup day, or using, those reusable bottles they give you on campus. Maybe even finding sponsors who are willing to give away great reusable straws, cups, bags, things of that nature that will directly make that impact to our community. Being able to take the time to network and grow as a team and grow as a page and then grow overall as EcoMason is really where we want to be. So that's what's next for EcoMason. And I think that with the right investment from ourselves, our passion, and our community, we can really make this take off. So we are really excited for what's next. What worked and what did not? So what we found that worked well for our EcoMason page was our content to begin with. So we chose images, for example, that were digital, so were, man-made and clearly computer generated. And then those that were taken on the field. Having that juxtaposition between the two we felt was strong, and it did come off strong positively for the viewers. So that was great to see, trying to mix and match some of the content you're seeing so it's not too repetitive. On that same note, for those images that you did see on the field, we wanted it to really take an effect on our users. So that sea turtle image, right, that everyone sees whether it comes to straws or bags, things like that, that makes an impact on the individuals. We want to catalyze a need for change. And so we found that those images did work well too. So we're really happy that we implemented that. On that same note, we did have some of those digital created images that had those simple statistics, right? To see those numbers in action with those drawings to go with it really did make an impact too. And it was able to be engaging in a short amount of time to read, which is what social media is, right? You scroll past and you continue to move on, but we need it to be simple enough to read, but still engaging. So that worked well. Facebook overall as a media platform worked well. Many people have it, many people still use it and will continue to, so it's sustainable on that end. And just having the reusable campaign overall was a great cause to try to build our innovation off of. What didn't work too great was trying to overexpand ourselves on the different media platforms with different content. It just didn't work. So we understand that we have to try to take a focus on our innovation, which is great. On that same note, we have to minimize content, right? So less about other types of pollution, other types of involvement, and more about reusable products. So trying to make more of an effort to be specific. And then again, not initially having that interactive content was hard. So we want to make those differences like the stakeholders said. So in terms of modifications, I think we have made a few along the way, first of which was extended timeline. So luckily throughout the course of the semester, we were able to break down the Monday through Friday process over a series of weeks, which allowed us to learn a lot more along the way. On that same note, learning the sprint process, there's a bit of a learning curve to it, but we do really enjoy the process overall and liked taking the time to get the feedback from not only our professor, but the class as well. We were really lucky to also get feedback within each other in the group, which we do understand doesn't actually happen in that 5-day sprint model. But getting to do that along this way allows us to see how innovation can not only help ourselves, but help others around us, especially when applying it to a cause we really care for. We were able to invest more time than, of course, the average sprint process, but I think that really allowed us to take the time in this endeavor to be able to see what was important and make those changes, especially when it comes to some of the advice from the shareholders that we were able to interview. Overall, it was a great time for the group experiment to see how everything in terms of innovation can work and how changes can be made throughout it. And the sprint process was very effective, but again, there was a bit of a learning curve in terms of trial and error. But if we were to try this again to move forward or maybe even redo our possible innovation, I think there'd be less modification over time and more room try to do so successfully the first time around.